Welcome back to the Red Dice Diaries. I'm John and this is Hannah.
Hi.
And all this month we're going to be looking at the various prompts for RPGaDay 2025. So let's get into it.
Day 21. Unexpected.
Yeah, so there's a few different things we could cover when we're talking about this, and I'm sure we will do as we get through this episode. I want to kick off by sort of finally cutting loose and talking about why I've got all these like different OSR games. And we're sat here amidst the labours of my purchases over many years. And
Floor to ceiling, wall to wall.
That's it. What can I say? I like small OSR books, and I cannot lie. But most of the books I've got, certainly probably I'd say 80-90% of the books I've got are some variation on D&D. Or sort of like old school D&Ds. You know, I've got I've got old school Essentials, The Lamentations of the Flame Princess, The Hero's Journey, various other and sundry swords and wizardry.
I mean, there's about 2 meters of D20 there.
Yeah.
Just on its own.
And now people might say, and understandably, people might say, well, why do you need so many OSR supplements, John? Aren't they all just essentially the same game? And I would say, do you know what? They're not 100% incorrect. However, to tie back into the theme, which is unexpected, the thing I love about these games, aside from the fact they're all broadly compatible, so I can nick stuff out of different games for whichever version I'm running at the minute, the thing I like about it is each of these OSR books is someone's version of how they liked to play D&D. So they'll normally start off with the same sort of rules framework, but then like you might get like, oh, this particular guy who wrote Adventurer Conqueror King, he likes the sort of mid-level player where you build like castles, and he loves like more detailed simulations of like how many people you have in a town and like what stuff you can buy at markets and stuff like that. Then you'll get some other guy who's like, oh, I like the whole idea of like the mythic underworld where all these dungeons are tied together into this strange fey realm. And there's nothing I love more, again to link back to the theme, there's nothing I love more than getting some like what looks to be like a generic sort of OSR book, and then at some point as I'm reading through it, I'll come across like maybe one, maybe two like little chapters or little things where I'm like, oh, I've not seen that focused in that way or told about in that way in previous versions.
This is one of the things that I particularly like about the Dungeon World games.
Yeah, like Dungeon World, do you?
I really do. I like to call it ADHD&D.
She's kept that quiet, folks. I'm lying, she hasn't.
One of the things that I really love about Dungeon World is the thing where at the start of the game, you come up with the game. Like the game world, the game background, the game history, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
So getting a new player into that is absolutely amazing. Because they have such random, crazy ideas. They've never played an RPG before, so they've got no rules to work within. So they'll come up with stuff that you wouldn't think of when you're so used to doing the same fantasy worlds over and over.
Are you trying to say their ideas are unexpected?
Indeed.
Yeah, so I think in a way that's pretty cool. I mean, you know me, I like Dungeon World as well. I have many fond memories of running it, although I've not run it for a while. I really should get around to doing it again. But yeah, I think the two of those things we've just talked about link together quite well, because I'm talking about, I like it when the author of a game does something unexpected and surprises me, and you're talking about, you love it when a new player who's sort of thinking outside the box comes in, because they've not even seen the box.
Didn't realise there was a box.
Yeah, they've come into the game and done something unexpected. And yeah, I can entirely agree with that. One of the things that I've often heard is that you get, not so much nowadays, but I remember back in the day, you used to get a lot of GMs sort of online and in forums and whatever, lamenting sort of players doing like crazy shit in their games, basically, and like going off the rails. Yeah, and it always bewildered me a bit. I mean, I suppose everyone goes through that phase when, you know, they think you've got to have a tight sort of rein on it. I know I did when I was in like my mid-teens, but I love it when like players do unexpected stuff. It keeps it entertaining for me. If I've already predetermined everything, I'm just effectively like reading. I'm not actually creating anything at the time. I love having to think on my feet and do stuff like that.
Well, yeah, and my preference for when I'm running a game is that I will have what the villains are going to do at what times.
Yeah.
And then I'll react to what the players are doing. So for me, it's a very boring game if they do everything I expected them to, because my villain's probably already planned for that. Whereas if the players surprise me, they've definitely surprised my villain.
Yeah, and I mean, even things like, let's think of the most sort of stereotypical thing you can have in a pseudo-medieval, like D&D style game. You're fighting a group of orcs. It's a standard encounter. We've all been in it. It's been done a million times. Now, if you're running an encounter and you're like, right, so we've got 4-player characters, standard, like, fighter, dwarf, elf, thief, whatever, and they're fighting against a similar number of orcs. If you just run into that combat and you're like, I hit that first orc, I hit that second orc, I try and backstab that third orc, it's all pretty boring, and we've all seen it loads and loads of times. However, if I'm going into a combat like that, I don't know, let's say it takes place in like a farmyard or something, and one of the player characters is like, oh, is there like a manure wagon about or something like that? Oh, I'm going to set fire to it and like run towards the orcs, pushing it towards them. Suddenly the whole scene seems fresh, new, because of that unexpected twist it's taken. It's orders of magnitudes more interesting.
There's also the thing where, as a GM, it's nice to be able to spring a surprise on your players.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it depends on what do you mean by like a springing a surprise on your players?
Well, it's maybe something we ought to be talking about on day 24, looking at that list. But the idea that...
We'll reveal more then. So that's it from me and Hannah for this RPGaDay 2025 episode.
Bye!
Hopefully you'll join us in the next one. And until we see you again, take care, stay safe, and whenever you're playing, have fun.